The Alexander County Sheriff's Office tells Queen City News that one suspect is dead after a deputy-involved shooting. This happened last night around 10 on Dusty Road in Taylorsville. This is near Highway 16. Deputies say that they were trying to serve a warrant to a suspect in the front yard. That's when the suspect met them in the front yard before trying to run. When deputies caught up to the man, a fight then happened, and one deputy shot and killed the suspect. The officer has been placed now on paid leave, pending an investigation. We're still working to learn more information about who the suspect was and what they were wanted for.
Good morning and welcome to the Bad Apple Report. It's 7:30 a.m. bright and early right here at home on the range, and I have a question for you. What type of person really wants to become a cop? Well, what type of 66-year-old retiree would want to become a cop? Well, that's what this next story is about. I'm not sure which way to point anymore. But hey, let's get on with the show. Let me know what you think about this guy in the comments and what do you think his plans are to use his skills as a businessman in policing.
Santa Clara County Sheriff's Department is swearing in a new reserve deputy tomorrow morning, but he's a little bit older than your average recruit.
Dylan talks to the former marketing executive turned peace officer about why, in his mid-60s, he's beginning a career in law enforcement.
On most days, you'll find this man on the move, working on something, even though he retired 4 years ago.
I was a marketing executive for over 35 years in high tech.
But Bob Yee is about to come out of retirement and do something quite different from his previous career.
Reserve Deputy Sheriff, Santa Clara County.
He will join the reserve unit on Monday, serving as a part-time deputy for Santa Clara County.
Finishing my business career, I felt a different calling.
Bob says it wasn't an overnight decision. He first volunteered as a safety ambassador in Oakland, Chinatown, after hearing of attacks on Asian seniors during the pandemic. He then organized a workshop to train people on how to use pepper spray to defend themselves. He also attended events to support crime victims.
And this journey with helping the community out, advocating for victims of violent crimes, has been much more fulfilling for me. And I want to continue this journey in law enforcement.
At 66 years old, Bob was the oldest in his police academy. His youngest colleague was 23 years old. Since he exercises routinely, he says his good shape and physical health helped him get through the academy.
Arrest control techniques, we learned about vehicle operations, we learned about shooting.
After Monday, he'll begin months of field training, and chances are Bob will not be doing felony search warrants or sprinting full speed to chase after bad guys. He says he would like to do more community policing, where he can use his life experience to engage with the community and businesses. He also wants to incorporate more technology to prevent and solve crime.
So it involves taking a lot of the business skills that I've already had in my prior career and applying them towards law enforcement.
His wife, Jo Ueda, says she's seen Bob's transformation and that he's much happier in this new career.
I actually thought he would have a retirement career or a hobby that was building things. I didn't think he would be like building community. So I was very pleased to hear that. I think it's a noble thing to be doing.
His entire family supports his work, and Bob says he's excited to serve the community.
I'm committed to the second career. In fact, I'm awaiting anxiously the pinning of the badge by my wife.
Bob turns 67 next month. He says don't let age limit what you can do. If you put in the work, he says, it's never too late to go after your dreams.
It is sometimes hard to report what these bad cops do on a daily basis, and this would be one of those times.
Our first look at body and dash camera video of the moment a man was hit by an unmarked state police vehicle. Samuel Sterling later died from his injuries in a hospital. Michigan State Police says Sterling was wanted on outstanding felonies and ran from police. 13 Your Side's Jeremiah Brown watched that video, and we do want to warn you that it may be difficult for some viewers to watch.
Sterling, get on the ground right now! It was April 17th when state police say they spotted Samuel Sterling putting air in his tires near 52nd and Eastern Avenue in Kentwood. Police say Sterling was wanted on outstanding felony warrants and ran when police tried to make contact with him. Body cam footage from a Wyoming police officer shows Sterling running into a Burger King parking lot off Eastern Avenue as he is then seen struck by an unmarked MSP cruiser. Video from a responding state trooper shows the unmarked vehicle driving into Samuel Sterling. As officers get closer, we see Sterling pinned against the wall of the Burger King. He is then told to put his hands behind his back and roll over, all while he is moaning
Behind
in
your
pain.
back. Hands behind your back. Go over. Get on your back. Hands behind your back. Hold on, take it easy.
The Wyoming officer is heard calling for medical help moments after Sterling is struck.
We need medical started for a suspect. Can we have a med 1 right now, please?
Meanwhile, other officers are seen putting a knee on Sterling's back and handcuffing him.
Relax. Get
While moaning in pain, Sterling is heard saying he doesn't have a gun and asking why he was hit.
Why you hit me like this?
Officers tell him not to move and focus on his breathing, and that help is on the way.
Don't move, man. Got medical start here for you.
A little more than 4 minutes after Sterling was hit, the fire department arrives.
Pin it in the wall.
Sterling asking for medics to help him.
We didn't even know this was a police chase, right? We just got a car accident.
Sterling passed away later that day in the hospital.
Now, Jeremiah, has the video from the state police officer that hit Sterling, has that been released?
Well, Lena, MSP says that the officer did not have a body camera due to being on a federal task force, and his vehicle did not have a camera as well. The officer that struck Sterling remains on an unpaid suspension pending the case's review from the state's attorney general.
Yes, there are an awful lot of officer-involved shootings on a daily basis in America, but there's also SWAT-involved home destroying going on all the time. Okay. Anyways, the question is, a strange one. A SWAT team blew up this innocent couple's home and left them with the bill. Was that constitutional? Dumb question. Molly and Michael Slaybaugh are reportedly out over $70,000. The government says it's immune. Oh, government. A federal court yesterday heard arguments in an appeal concerning an area of law that, while niche, has seen a streak of similarly situated plaintiffs pile up in recent years. At stake, when a SWAT team destroys an innocent person's property, should the owner be strapped with the bill? Oh, we know the answer to that. Let's just read this really fast because we know how the government do and how it's going to work out. There is what I would consider a common sense answer to that question, no duh. But in a reminder that common sense does not always guide law and policy, that is not the answer reached by several courts across the U.S., where such victims are often told that police powers provide an exception to the Constitution's promise to give just compensation when the government usurps property for public use. Oh, lordy. Okay. It remains to be seen where the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit will fall as it evaluates the complaint from Molly and Michael Slaybaugh, who are reportedly on the hook for over $70,000 after a SWAT team destroyed much of their home in Tennessee. In January 2022, Molly Slaybaugh stepped outside her house and was greeted by a police officer with his gun drawn. Oh, that's how they say hi, guys. She was informed that her adult son, James Jackson Kahn, who did not live with her, but had recently arrived to visit, was wanted for questioning concerning the murder of a police officer. Oh, I guess they couldn't pick him up before he went into the house, which she says was news to her. Although she offered to speak to Kahn and bring him out of her house, law enforcement declined to permit that or to let her re-enter at all, so she went to stay at her daughter's house nearby. Oh, lordy. We know what's going to happen now, right? The battering ram. The next day, police broke down the door and launched dozens of tear gas grenades into the Slaybaugh's home, laying waste to nearly everything in the house. Their insurance declined to assist them, as their policy, like many policies, does not cover damage caused by the government. Yet both Smyrna and Rutherford County said they were immune from helping as well. But despite Molly Slaybaugh's offer to coax Kahn out, sans tear gas, her complaint does not dispute that it was in the best interest of the community for law enforcement to do as they did that day. It merely contests that government's claim that innocent property owners should have to bear the financial burden by themselves when police destroy their homes in pursuit as a suspect. Okay. Law enforcement is a public good. Through our taxes, we pay for the training, equipment, and salaries of police officers. We pay to incarcerate criminals. We pay for a court system and public defenders. Reads her complaint. Okay, the judge is already yawning, allegedly. When the police destroy private property in the course of enforcing the criminal laws, that is simply another cost of law enforcement. Forcing random, innocent individuals to shoulder the cost alone would be as fair as conducting a lottery to determine who has to pay the police chief's salary each year. And you know what? This lawyer's goofiness has already lost the case, in my opinion. Because these are the quotes from the complainant's lawyer there. That hypothetical is absurd, and yet the spirit of it is at the heart of several court decisions on the matter. That includes the U.S. Court District of Middle Tennessee there, which ruled last year that the Slabaws were not entitled to a payout because, in the court's view, the takings clause of the Fifth Amendment does not apply when the state seizes and destroys someone's property in the exercise of police powers. And now just about everything they do is in the exercise of police powers. The Slabaws are unfortunately not alone. The notion that police powers immunize the government from liability is what doomed Leo Leck's lawsuit, which he filed after a SWAT team did so much damage to his home in pursuit of a suspect that broke in and had no relation to the family that it had to be demolished in 2020. The Supreme Court declined to hear the case. We're not going to touch that one. Similar claims are continuing to accumulate. All right. Tyranny meets citizenry, and tyranny wins every time. The city of Los Angeles refused to compensate Carlos Pena after a SWAT team destroyed his North Hollywood print shop in pursuit of a suspect who barricaded himself inside. And the government of McKinney, Texas turned away Vicki Baker after police ruined her home and much of its contents while, again, trying to catch a fugitive. After a legal odyssey of sorts, Baker was able to secure a judgment from a federal jury through that was ultimately overturned by U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit, which ruled there was a necessity exception to the takings clause. Most recently, the local government in South Bend, Indiana, rejected Amy Hadley's pleas for help after police mutilated her home in search of a suspect she'd never met and who'd never been to her home. An officer's botched investigation. Oh, you mean an officer's botched investigation led law enforcement to her house, and she has been forced to pay the price of the blunder. Accountability should not just be for the little people. There is no accountability for police. That's what our Bad Apple report was about yesterday. Okay, the plain text of the Just Compensation Clause contains no exemptions for the police power for public necessity or for the damage done by law enforcement, and for the government bears the burden of establishing that any such exception is grounded in our nation's history and tradition. Jeffrey Redfern, an attorney for the Institute of Justice representing Slabaws, told this guy is going to lose it for everybody. Sorry, Jeffrey. Okay. All right. But the government hasn't even tried to meet that burden. Instead, it asks this court to blindly follow decisions from other jurisdictions, decisions whose reasoning the government isn't really defending. Oh, whatever happened to that cool attorney? Buffalo jacket. He's probably gone because that was 20 years ago and he was in his 70s then. But anyway, in some sense, the government is throwing what it can to the wall and see what sticks. And a fair amount of non-adhesive material is successfully latching on, of course, because juries are a bunch of government lovers. 20% of society is made up of government people, and of course, that's all of their immediate family, an exception to the laws of nature that few entities other than the government could reasonably hope to enjoy. Oh, we know how it is, Reason magazine. So, all right, that's the question. If the SWAT team comes and blows up your place, is it constitutional? No, but they're going to still get away with it. Okay, you guys know when we go light on the bad apples right here at home on the range, it just means tomorrow's show is going to be filled with bad apples, all right? So we gave ourselves a light day today. Tomorrow we're going to get them. We're going to show them. We're going to expose them. Bad apples for breakfast. See you in the morning, 7:30 a.m., bright and early right here at home on the range. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.